Socy Dark Talks is back. Ever wondered how close your favorite horror games come to real-life nightmares? Brace yourselves as we unravel 3 horror games that are not just figments of imagination, but are rooted in actual horrifying events. 1. 𝐒𝐈 70, Eye of Basir. The game, 𝐒𝐈 70, Eye of Basir, immerses players in the investigation of the protagonist's childhood home following the grandmother's death. Aras and Erhan spent their childhood with their grandmother in house number 70, a place of unexplained mysterious occurrences. The story of this game is set in 1988, when Aras and Erhan were still in school. They witnessed unexplainable phenomena. Objects in the house frequently moved positions, footsteps echoed through the night when no one else was home, and mysterious shadows flitted past the windows. Their grandmother, a woman of great kindness, yet secretive by nature, never spoke of these incidents. Memories of trying to open a trunk and being angrily struck by their grandmother for the first time haunted Aras. Returning to the house, a heavy atmosphere enveloped them. Aras and Erhan began to clean up their grandmother's old belongings, hoping to find some answers about the mysterious trunk from the past. During the cleanup, Erhan discovered an old key hidden under a carpet in the grandmother's bedroom. Subsequently, they found the trunk in the attic, where all remaining items were stored like ancient secrets. As the key gently turned in the lock, a cold breeze swept through the room, as if opening not just the trunk, but also another world. Inside, they found old letters, a diary, and several strange artifacts of unknown origin, including a small statue of Basir, an ancient deity believed to have the power to see into the human soul. The faded pages of the diary revealed that their grandmother had been a researcher of supernatural phenomena and had spent many years studying the Eye of Basir. According to her notes, she believed this artifact could open doors between worlds and had protected the trunk to prevent dark forces from entering this world. Beneath the letters and diary, they also found an old map marked with locations around the world, each associated with legends of portals to other worlds. One of the marked locations was Midwich, where house number 70 stood. The more Aras and Erhan read, the more they realized that the house they grew up in was not just a home. It seemed to be a node on the supernatural map that their grandmother had studied. The strange phenomena they had witnessed as children, such as moving objects and fleeting shadows, suddenly seemed like parts of something much larger and more frightening. As they continued to piece together the puzzle, darkness enveloped the house. The air grew heavier, and the feeling of someone else's presence in the house became more apparent. Faint footsteps sounded on the floor above, even though they knew only the 2 of them were there. Aras decided to use the small statue of Basir to test whether his grandmother's notes were indeed true. He placed the statue in the living room, where they found the trunk, and began to recite the incantations noted in the diary. As Aras read, a sudden cold wind swept through the room, causing the windows to rattle and the wall paintings to sway. The lights in the room began to flicker, and the sound of footsteps seemed to draw nearer. Erhan grasped Aras's hand, looking at him worriedly, but Aras continued to read. When the last incantation was spoken, a sudden silence enveloped the house. All minor noises stopped, and even the wind seemed to cease blowing. They stood there in silence for a long while, hardly daring to breathe, waiting for something to happen. Suddenly, the statue of Basir began to emit a faint glow, spreading a soft light throughout the room. A hazy image appeared before them. It was their grandmother, but she looked different, her eyes blazing with deep knowledge and mystery. Their grandmother smiled at them, a gentle yet sorrowful smile.
"You are ready to know the truth,"
her voice echoed, not quite sounding like a normal voice, but more like a distant echo. Aras and Erhan stood transfixed, their eyes never leaving the apparition before them. They felt a profound truth slowly unfolding, a truth they had only begun to scratch the surface of over the years.
"The statue you found, Eye of Basir, is one of the keys to the doors between worlds. I hid it not out of fear, but hoping to protect you from a truth scarier,"
she explained.
"But now you are ready, and I am no longer here to protect you."
A silence fell, only the regular ticking of the wall clock filling the room. The image of their grandmother gradually faded, but before completely disappearing, she added,
"Be careful, my children. This power does not only open doors, it also attracts attention, and not all who notice have good intentions."
As the image vanished, Aras and Erhan looked at each other, feeling the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. The room returned to normal as if nothing had happened, but the atmosphere had completely changed. They knew their lives would never be the same again. In the following days, the brothers attempted to learn more about the Eye of Basir and the intersections between worlds. They began to realize that the secrets their grandmother left behind were not just about family, but about the vast universe they were a part of. The strange phenomena around the house now seemed somewhat explainable. The moving objects, the shadows flitting past windows, and the nighttime footsteps likely were spirits from other worlds attempting to make contact with the living world. With the Eye of Basir key in hand, Aras and Erhan knew they had a new mission, not only to explore and understand more about parallel worlds, but also to find ways to protect their world from potential dangers. This was a mission that would likely transcend their lifetimes, a commitment to guarding against unseen, otherworldly threats. The game title, number 70, Eye of Basir, was created from the story of two people with the original purpose of reaching out to many people from multiple countries so they could comment on appropriate explanations. Later, because the game was so popular, the two brothers focused on business rather than learning about the true origin of the things she left behind. 2. Stairs. The horror game, Stairs, puts players in the role of an investigative journalist named Alex Mercer, who decides to uncover the truth behind the mysterious and unexplained disappearances of 3 people in the nearby area. The game is said to be inspired by the Donner Party event and the infamous Ed Gein's Chainsaw Massacre. In 2003, a young investigative journalist, Alex Mercer, moved to the small town of Yarborough to learn about the mysterious disappearances of 3 residents. The grim tales of these disappearances haunted the region, and Alex saw it as an opportunity to make his mark in his career. Upon beginning his investigation, Alex heard rumors of an old house on the edge of town, believed to be related to the disappearances. Residents called it the Donner House, as it was once owned by a distant descendant of the Donner Party. The house was surrounded by eerie stories of strange sounds and mysterious shadows. One autumn evening, Alex decided to explore the house. As soon as he entered, he felt a chilling atmosphere enveloping him. The dark space was only lit by moonlight seeping through dusty windows. The old house creaked with each step he took. While searching for clues, Alex accidentally discovered a hidden door leading to the basement under a rug in the living room. With a flashlight in hand, he opened the door and started descending the old stairs. The air in the basement was heavy and musty, but Alex sensed something more, a foul, unsettling smell. In the basement, Alex found a carefully sealed room. Inside, he discovered photos of the 3 missing people, along with signs that they had been held there. What chilled him most was a collection of hunting tools and several journals. The journals contained detailed descriptions of stalking and preparing prey, a sinister euphemism for cannibalism. While reading the journals, Alex suddenly heard heavy footsteps on the floor above. His heart pounded as he realized someone had returned to the house. Alex quickly hid the journal in his pocket and found a hiding spot in the basement. Through a crack in the door, he saw an elderly man in a blood-stained shirt descending with a tense expression, carrying a flashlight and a small axe. Alex's heart nearly stopped as the man began searching around as if looking for something or someone. Alex held his breath, trying not to make a sound. The man approached where Alex was hiding. The dim light from the flashlight shone through the crack, and Alex could see the bloodstains on the man's clothes. Their eyes met through the gap. Alex felt a chill down his spine when he realized the man had seen him. In a tense moment, the man opened the room door and stared at Alex with eyes full of madness and rage.
"Who are you, and what do you want here?"
The man asked, his voice trembling with fury. Alex quickly stood up, clutching the journal, and replied confidently, "I'm a journalist. I came here to find out about the missing people. I know what you've done to them, and I won't let you harm anyone else." The man scoffed a contemptuous and cold laugh.
You think you can stop me? You're just a curious kid. I've lived through many generations and have done this many times. You can't stop what is destined.
Alex didn't back down. "I've called the police, and they're on their way. Everything you've done will be exposed." The man hesitated, clearly surprised by this information. He glanced at the journal in Alex's hand, then back at Alex, his eyes wavering between despair and madness. But before he could act, the sound of police sirens echoed from afar, cutting through the tense atmosphere. The man ran out of the basement, leaving Alex alone in the dark room. The moments that followed felt like a drama unfolding as the police stormed into the house and eventually arrested the man with the evidence Alex had gathered. Thanks to his courage and determination, Alex not only saved himself but also brought a brutal predator to justice. The event quickly became sensational news, spreading throughout the town and the surrounding area. Just about 10 weeks after the event, under the anonymous effort of several students, the game Stairs was created and became an instant hit upon release. 3. Neverending Nightmares. In the world of the game, Neverending Nightmares, Matt Gilgenbach creates a haunted universe where every corner, every shadow, and every sound is a torment of the soul. But above all, this is not just a game. It is a secret diary, a way for Matt to confront his nightmares, severe depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. The world of Neverending Nightmares is built upon the actual memories, thoughts, and fears that Matt has experienced. Endless hallways with cracked walls and the squeaking of old wooden floors seem to stretch on without end. The ticking of his grandfather's pendulum clock sounds every second, each tick a reminder of the inescapability. In the game, players control the main character, Tom, a reflection of Matt himself. Tom wakes up in a dark room, not knowing who he is or where he is. The only thing he knows is that he must escape. But each time he opens a door, only a new, more dismal hallway awaits him. The nightmare is not just ordinary fear. It is comprised of twisted thoughts and compulsive worries that Tom cannot control. Each step in the game is a step into the dark world of obsession. The paintings on the walls are not just images. They are visions of fear and obsessions that Tom cannot shake off. A desperate cry from an old clock guides Tom through the rooms, each more haunting than the last. In one room, he finds a blood-stained axe, a vision from a dream Matt once had, where he had to confront himself as the enemy. What makes Neverending Nightmares truly terrifying is the feeling of never being able to escape. Each nightmare leads to the next, with no respite. Tom tries to flee from the monsters, symbols of the pain and mental strain Matt has felt, but each time he thinks he has escaped, he only steps into a new nightmare. In a memorable scene, Tom faces a room filled with hanging pictures, each one a moment of agony from Matt's past, the darkest times of his life. The pictures occasionally change, each time revealing a face full of pain or another horrifying scene. This makes the player not only feel trapped in a loop of fear, but also confronts the reality that one cannot escape oneself. As Tom continues his journey, he begins to hear whispers. Initially, they are mere faint sounds, but gradually they become clearer and more oppressive. These whispers are Matt's voice, describing the dark thoughts and negative emotions he has battled with in his struggle with mental illness. These words not only enhance the eerie atmosphere of the game, but also allow the player to understand the character's inner turmoil more deeply. The climax of the game is a confrontation between Tom and his reflection in a mirror. This is an image of Matt, but represented as a terrifying entity, an embodiment of all the fears and obsessions he has ever faced. This battle is not just a physical fight, but also a psychological one, where Tom must accept himself, with all his flaws and pains. When Tom finally defeats his dark self, the game seems to end. However, in a haunting final twist, as Tom steps out of the house, he finds himself at the beginning of the hallway he just traversed. The game ends with the main character realizing that, although he has fought and overcome much, the nightmare has not truly ended. It has only just begun again. Neverending Nightmares is not just a horror game. It is a deep journey into the darkness of the human mind, where every door opened is not only a new nightmare, but also a lesson in acceptance and facing oneself.
Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel so you won't miss out any creepy tales and scary adventures in the upcoming videos. This is Socy Dark Talks. Stay curious and embrace the darkness.